We are back with this awesome conclusion to the interview with Doug MAHNKE. If you guys haven't watched part one, go to the channel, like, sub, watch it, and come back here to finish it up. Shout outs to JJ, who dug through a bunch of long boxes to find the original art of Hitman Lobo that got edited. This is the first time that it's being shown off, so stay tuned to check it out. If you made a DC character, this guy's drawn it, and most recently now, which I was super excited about, is Swamp Thing Green Hell. I know that you, I was really excited about the first one. Talking to you, being like, man, this is so cool. The way you construct the layouts, the double page spreads in this. And then there was a big gap before number 2 and 3 came out. And so they re-released number 1. So you can get them all. And I heard that in August they're doing a hardcover, which I'm really excited about.
You know, the first issue was done in a pretty timely fashion. And in fact, artistically speaking, I really like how it looks, you know, and it was all done because when you're doing the black label stuff, there's two kinds of paper. There's this huge oversized paper. I mean, it's almost as big as my drawing table. And then there's the smaller paper. And then, of course, I did some digital stuff because I did it to save time. But so the first one was done all on paper and on the oversize, which means you're drawing, you're penciling, inking way more, you know, twice as much practically as you normally would.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's only one way to do it. It's put more stuff down. But at the same time, like, I was hit by so many things after I'd finished the first one. I mean, I had my sister who passed away, and then my father, I can't remember the order, father, then my sister, COVID, like all, you know, getting sick with COVID for the second time, all kinds of stuff. And then I managed to like power through the second issue. You know, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. And and DC, my editors were just so understanding. They've always been, because normally I'm just a workhorse and I just slay deadlines. They come to me when other people are having trouble getting stuff done sometimes, and I'm the one who, you know, stepped in and fixed things, or finished things. Fixed isn't the right word. So here I was, you know, on this book and trying valiantly with all of these things that were just knocking me down. And I was totally stymied by it. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this isn't how I work. This isn't what I do. And yet I couldn't, you know, every time I went to shift into a higher gear, something else would happen. So I literally had just like gotten my teeth back into finishing issue 3, and I was clicking along. Everything's cool. And then I started having symptoms of a stroke. And this happens at the end of last August. And so at very end. And so my wife gets me to the hospital. They get me treated with this clotbuster TNK. I don't even, you know, I'm not showing like grotesque signs of a stroke, but I come up, you know, the symptoms are this, they believe I'm having a stroke. They're not sure what kind, but I am. And within 15 minutes, all of a sudden, 15, 20 minutes after getting the clot buster, TNK, I start to feel fine. And frankly, I mean, I was about 250 pounds, strong as a bull. You know, what I do for fun is lift weights, both just for fun and competitively.
I've seen the videos.
So, but they check my heart, they check my brain, they check everything, and everything's good. My blood pressure is great, blood sugar, everything. Heart works great. You know, it's just something that happened. But then right after that, I'm ready to start work, and I get hit with insomnia, like massive insomnia. Essentially, I just stopped sleeping. I sleep, and I'm not, it's no joke. I was sleeping 2 hours a night was pretty normal. And it just tears you up. There's nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like, for someone that's never experienced insomnia, it doesn't sound like it's huge, right?
Oh,
but dealing with it is.
Well, some of the things that happen is you spend so much time awake that you become hypersensitive to everything: sound, light, touch. You know, like a simple sound. I could no longer like block out sounds. You know, like generally your brain is busy like parsing through stuff, and it cancels out unessential noise. You know, I heard everything. I felt everything. You know, my eyes hurt. It was so hard to focus on paper.
You're basically like Matt Murdock.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Daredevil probably slept more than I did. So I've spent the last like 7 months, you know, working through this, you know, with doctors. Slowly, slowly, slowly. In fact, it's just started to really turn around because I've been on plenty of meds. And, you know, like, for example, Ambien is a strong drug. I was on a couple of different drugs, including Ambien. And at times my brain would just fire right through it. It wouldn't knock me out at all. I would just be lying there, doped up on Ambien, you know, just wait until morning. But I had a sleep study done recently and some other aspects, and realized I was dealing with even more than I even knew. So I'm learning how to sleep again. And slowly but surely, I'm getting more sleep, more natural sleep. You know, and that's really the goal. It absolutely took an absolute toll on my body and my ability to work at the time. So I think it's in January because they'd switched up some of the meds, and it just made me go bonkers. I mean, I never felt so bad. And I almost walked away from the third issue. This close because I just couldn't do it. I mean, you know, you need to be able to focus and concentrate to get anything done. And, you know, if you're not sleeping, it just falls apart. So, my buddy, Pat Gleason, I was talking to him on the phone. I was, dude, just telling him the struggle. And he says, you don't have to do it. You know, it's just a comic book, buddy. You know, you don't have to draw this. And I think when I realized that, you know, he's right. I don't have to do it, but I really want to get it done for people. I want them to get the story as I've been drawing it from beginning to end.
That's awesome that you got it done.
And so I enlisted the help of my friend Sean Mall. And Sean and I would just go back and forth every day. I'd do layouts and he would flesh things up. Sometimes he'd do a bunch of he did a bunch of the inking for me, and then he would bounce it back to me, and I would make maybe minor adjustments. So if you look at the third issue and you see some stylistic differences, it's because I have somebody helping me.
Yeah.
But somehow we made it through. I couldn't believe it. That was literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, was finishing issue 3. Well, actually, just having Insomnia has been the hardest. But finishing issue 3, I really wanted to get it done. You know, I didn't want somebody else to do it. And knowing that I didn't have to, which is true. I mean, I'm an adult. I didn't have to. But I've never been in that situation where I'm not getting something accomplished that I want. Excuse me. I'm super goal oriented, and you know, when I'm trying to get something done, I usually give it 110%. So I finally did, made it all the way through. And the fact that you're holding it is practically a miracle.
Well, it's here. It's quite an accomplishment, man. I'm so glad this is in my hands. It's an awesome read. I really wanted Etrigan the Demon in here. That was my hope for this book, because we got Constantine, Dead Man, and there's no Etrigan. I really thought he was going to
I thought he would have been. And I was surprised that he wasn't. In fact, in this story, when you get to that point where Constantine is talking to the first of the fallen, and he says,
yes,
I want, can't you just send a little of that demon power? I'm thinking, yes, they want the demon. That's not what Jeff put into the story. So he just said like a massive, tree monster. He didn't say anything about the demon.
Yeah. That would have been cool though. Maybe in the next one, if you guys ever do it again. Love to see your version.
Like it.
Pick up Green Hell, freaking cool. I guess the collection is going to be out in August. So that's going to be great. Anything else you have planned for the future over at DC?
I'm working on something right now, but I haven't been informed whether or not it's been released regarding doing it. So rest assured, it's actually just super fun adventure, cool stuff.
Yeah.
With a major character that I happen to like.
All right. Okay.
Not Lobo, but
oh, come on.
Did you ever see Lobo Hitman?
Yes, dude. Yeah. That was after Lobo Mask, huh?
Oh yeah, quite a bit after.
So Lobo Hitman is kind of that Lobo he's like the most monstrous Lobo I've ever seen, and he's very different than how you draw Lobo now and how you drew Lobo before that. That was insane.
He's trouble. You want to hear a story about the book?
Of course.
All right. Pete Tomasi was the editor. Okay.
Yeah.
Dennis was the writer. And I mean, it's no secret. I don't think Garth really likes superheroes of any kind.
Yeah, sure.
Batman and the Punisher, because they're just human beings. So he doesn't care what he does to Lobo.
Yeah.
So the script, got approval. It went through across Paul Levitz's desk, and Paul said yes to it. And so I drew what Garth asked for and had a blast doing it. I mean, this book is, it was full of like gore. All right.
Right.
Really funny, I think, gore. And actually, the side note, it's not even a side note, but Pat Gleason is my assistant at the time. And if you're ever leafing through that book and you see something you think is really funny, there's this part where Lobo throws a mobster's caddy up on top of a building.
Mm-hmm.
Trunk pops open and a guy pops out of the back who's bound hand and foot and all that. That's Pat's doing. He put in some really funny stuff like that. But it's a gore fest, a funny gore fest, and very at the end of the book, and I'll tell you what the original ending was because there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
And it was done in true Garth style. Well, when the book was done, Paul Levitz saw it and says, "We can't publish this. We can't do it."
Yeah.
And I think Pete says, "Well, you signed off on the script." I don't know what Paul said, but maybe seeing it in reality was different than reading it.
You drew the ending?
Oh yeah. So the book was totally finished as well. We can't have this ending. It's not okay. And so we go back and we change the ending, and it's a minor rewrite, but it does change the ending quite a bit.
Yeah.
As well as they toned down some of the gore. Like I know that at one point I got like Lobo holding a hand full of viscera, and like they took it out. I'm thinking, why would you take that out? Because you left all this other stuff in. I mean, there's, I don't know if they're doing it by numbers and saying, well, okay, we got this much guts hanging out over here. We got to cut it down over here. So the book as it came out is, did you ever read, Section 8, Garth's work, the funny guys?
I don't think, I don't know.
Okay. There's this, in the pages of Hitman, there's a superhero team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even going to try to remember all of them, but one of them is a character called Bueno Excellente. And all he ever says is Bueno, and he's power version. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This spirit Garth had is nonsense. So what happens in the end when they knock Lobo unconscious?
Yeah.
So you don't see anything, but they talk about it and it's understood. So Lobo eventually shows back up at, it's called Noonan's Bar, and Hitman or Tommy Monahan is sitting at the bar. And Lobo's going to kill him. He says, well, if you do that, we've released all of these, I think to the JLA or Superman, whatever. I says, anything happens to me, they're going to see this. And I guess what happens is they videotape Bueno sodomizing Lobo.
Jesus Christ.
And Lobo sees it, you know, like we show just, we imply very little, but,
Yeah.
but Lobo's reaction is one of absolute horror. But of course, it's only a character like Lobo that you can do stuff to this, because the main man bounces back from everything, even Garth Ennis's. And
Oh yeah, yeah. He'll be healed up in no time. Yeah.
He says we can't do that, and I said, well, so all we did was have the idea is that while he was unconscious, that we redrew it in that Bueno is dressed as a woman, or with a veil as a bride, and the idea is that Lobo marries Bueno.
That's right. I remember that.
So that's
Very
what happened.
drastically different there.
The comic that almost never made it.
That's crazy. Didn't he? There's this. I don't know. Does Lobo get both of his eyes shot out and he's running around? Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Monahan shoots both his eyes out, so Lobo has to like just smell him through the streets of.
Yeah. That's pretty bad. You did that. I don't know. That's I'm thinking of the Batman Under the Red Hood. Does that happen to Amazo, or does he get stuck in the head?
I think no. I don't remember if that happens to Amazo. It might.
Maybe one of his eyes.
I forget.
To go back and look.
Yeah, because he's got Nightwing, and Nightwing gets him in both sides of the head with.
Yeah.
With,
oh no, he gets like C4 on his eyes.
Yeah.
Right. The plastic explosive, and he blows his eyes out. That was pretty badass. So I heard. I mean, you have your creator-owned stuff, Major Bummer. What's going on with that?
Oh, John and I, Arcudi, I mean, over the years we've talked about, doing some more Major Bummer, and just finding the time and the opportunity to do it, and how to do it, and where to do it, and the last thing that we had a anthology, or we had a collection published through Dark Horse,
right?
But John wasn't interested in keeping it going there, and frankly, we both were too busy doing other things to do more Bummer. And when we would talk, we talk every once in a while with friends, but we can go quite a ways without getting on the phone. And a pretty common thing for us to say is, hey, if we ever have the time, let's do some more Major Bummer.
Yeah.
And it just time opened up, and we were able to do this little 8-pager that was published in Image. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I'd hadn't touched those characters in so long, and I didn't. In some ways, I naturally would want to make, I don't know, them look older, just because I'm older.
Sure.
Like back when I was doing it, it was easy to make Lou look younger, and now it's like, oh, yeah, I had to take lines out of his face and just kind of tone it down, because it's not like it's way in the future or anything. We're just picking up probably where we left off.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
So we can end up doing more. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Plus, we're doing it, and John has an endless amount of material.
Yeah, he's always pumping stuff out.
Never got to when we originally published it.
That's cool. That's exciting. Everybody look out for that as well. But the reason we're here, as well as this awesome interview, Doug, I really appreciate you coming out, and appreciate you doing this amazing freaking bookmark. Let's take a look at this. So this is going to be available for every backer on the Lost Pages 3. Once we hit 30K on the campaign, you did a badass Crim bookmark. Look at this. Let me go zoom in on this. Look at this. Freaking amazing. Colored by Doug himself. Dude, thank you so much for this. This is so badass.
Well, I was happy to do it.
So freaking cool.
I'm just glad you asked me.
What's that?
I'm glad you asked me. It's a cool character. It's kind of a fun thing to draw.
Thanks, man. You've been super supportive of just this character. I don't know if you remember, but when I met you at C2E2 before the pandemic, showing you this character, and remember you really dug him, and
But he's cool.
tried to make him as cool as possible. And you just turned that up to 11, man. This is totally killer.
Glad I could contribute.
Yeah, thanks, man. Now you did the trailer for the previous one, and yeah, I had to see if you would do some Crim here, because I love the big powerhouse characters, and you're just so kick ass at drawing them. I think we got that muscle head connection here. I love the big, toxically masculine characters, as people would call them.
Yeah, it's just old fashioned.
So cool. We need to get you over crowdfunding some stuff, doing your own stuff one day. So,
When I have the strength, when I'm sleeping more than I'm not.
Yeah, you need to get, and you need to get your bench over Deathstroke's bench. Yeah.
Well, I mean, normally it would be.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Crazy strong, but I was, I had a pretty good bench. 430 max.
Yeah, no biggie.
No. I could my best incline was, I think, 270 or 370 or 375, and the thing I'm most proud of is I overhead pressed 300.
Yeah.
And I did. I mean, all those were done in my 40s. So now I'm 60.
You still got it.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, especially because of the insomnia. Pre-insomnia, I was clicking pretty good.
Now, what do you think about that? Like, it seems like guys that are just love drawing these crazy muscle characters, a lot of them, like I'm noticing in the comic industry, they're lifters and bodybuilders themselves. You look at guys like Simon Bisley, Kyle Hotz is ripped, Kulo's into lifting. I mean, I got a buddy, a mutual friend, Matt Dalton, is just freaking a beast. It seems to me that is sometimes could go hand in hand, and we'll come to think of those guys are some of the best artists at kind of embellishing the anatomy, characters like that.
Well, I don't know. It always seemed to kind of go hand in hand for me. I mean, when I first got into comics as a little kid, I mean, I think I read my first comic when I was 5, and my first reaction is I wanted to be a superhero.
Yeah.
I didn't want to draw superheroes. Sure. I wanted to. And just a lifetime spent pursuing. I mean, I always did athletics, and I excelled at it. I mean, more than I didn't, and so I was just put together to be strong. And I was once I didn't start lifting till I was 17. And I just have never stopped. Just loved it, and it's just such a simple activity. I don't think some dude who's bigger is better than some dude who isn't. It's just how it fits with your personality. And for those who like it, we all understand each other. That's why my animation with like the villains hanging out in the Batman gym, they're all just brothers of the iron. That's just how they are.
That's how it is.
Except for Joker, like I said, he doesn't know why he's there.
He just wants to start a ruckus. That guy.
Yep.
He's up to no good.
Something's gonna happen. But yeah, and then when I meet guys, like I've gone back and forth with Kyle plenty of times, and it's I mean, you instantly click with people, just like if, I don't know, meet somebody who you both play tennis, or you both like to gamble, sure, or you like to drink a certain tequila or smoke a certain cigar or visit a certain vacation spot. You can talk about it, and you know the nomenclature, what to expect and how people behave, in that environment. The culture.
Exactly. Yeah.
Me, it was always a big part of it.
I would be. I'd probably get yelled at if I didn't mention Graham Nolan as well.
Oh yeah, Graham. He's a beefcake.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Well, Doug, we've been talking for a while. I think this was an awesome opportunity to talk to you, and thank you again for this amazing kick-ass bookmark. If you guys don't know, you could check out the Lost Pages 3 on Indiegogo. That's basically a pre-order, and it's going to be out this summer. It's 82 pages, I think, of kick-ass action. If you guys don't know what the story's about, this guy is the imaginary friend of a babe named Jasmine Stone, and they're crime fighters. She gets kidnapped, drugged, and he falls back into her head. He's got to crawl his way out, fighting all of her inner demons to save her and the rest of the city. So check out the Lost Pages 3. Thanks, man. I think it's going to be the best one we've put out so far. If you guys haven't read the previous books, they're on there or on our website, sadecomics.com. And stay tuned for everything that Doug's doing, because he's killing it. Pick up Swamp Thing, Green Hell. It's amazing read. And, man, some of those splash pages, like I said, and those spreads.
Cool ones. I admit there's a few that I really got into, some of them especially.
Yeah, when he turns into that devil Swamp Thing, it was insane. I was like,
I think there's a 2-page spread from the second issue that I just absolutely love, and it's from a low angle skew.
I know what you're talking. And the colorist too did like this. The sun is in the background going through Swamp Thing's legs. It's just freaking chef's kiss. It's so good. So pick that up. Doug, where could people find you? I mean, you got your Instagram.
Doug MAHNKE on Instagram. I don't show up on Facebook too much, and TikTok like a wasteland that I don't quite comprehend.
Yeah.
And I don't do what's that other thing? Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say, and I'd rather say it with my drawing and stuff. So Twitter I don't quite get. Writers understand Twitter.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good promotional platform. You should do a YouTube channel. Put your animations up there too.
Yeah, I started to. I got a few up, and I never put up any more. Probably because I wanted to change the format on everything.
That's true. They have.
I don't know. The cool thing about Instagram is, I get to use the music that I can find to enhance a video. I don't know how to do that or what the legality of it on YouTube is. Clearly, you can't monetarily benefit from
right.
music.
Yeah, you're right.
Which changes everything, because the right piece of music just drives the video hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so everybody follow him on Instagram. Check out all those awesome reels, are they called? Check out all the awesome reels and his animations. And yeah, thank you for coming on here, Doug. It's awesome. We'll have to do it again sometime.
I think you're great. I just love what you're doing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, we're going to get you on another trailer, hopefully, in the future.
I wanted to do this one.
I know.
That would have been so perfect.
I know, dude. Yeah, Doug was going to do this trailer.
I just couldn't. It was easy for me to work on my own stuff because I could just do it sporadically here and there, but I just couldn't wait around for me to do something that would actually require me to have a plan.
Sure. We'll do it, man. And all to getting back to sleep. Go to sleep after this, Doug. Yeah. After we get off.
I haven't had a nap in 7 months. I barely ever feel like sleeping. I just feel like going.
Well, you're going, man. And everybody follow him. We'll catch you next time with another video. I'm gonna edit this up and see you, everybody.